This is a question from a person in Ireland who wishes to help her friend who is 74 years old, is suffering from diabetes, is on medication, and he has constant back pain, difficulties with bending, quite frequent urination, that also prevents him from longer trips. He likes traveling but is restricted in doing so. He has a diet that is typical for an Irish person, very, very high in dairy products, yogurt, milk, red meat, potatoes, typical diet of an Irish farmer. And he may not be able to or have the energy or the enthusiasm to make changes to his diet. Unfortunately, that is going to be very difficult because diet has a lot to do with how the kidneys and the prostate work. For example, we know that a diet high in dairy products is responsible for many prostate issues. And to help alleviate the situation, I strongly recommend to desist eating any dairy products except unsalted butter to a small amount, because the dairy proteins and particularly the lactose in the protein can lead to major constrictive occurrences in the prostate and also in the kidneys. Much of the lower back pain is actually caused by crystals, stones, little stones, leaving the kidneys and passing through the ureters, and particularly in the area where the ureters converge and combine, that's where the lower back pain occurs. The reason for that is that these crystals have very, very sharp edges to them. They're like crystals, very, very sharp surfaces that cut into the ureter lining, just like knives or razor blades would cut into it. And that can cause an enormous amount of limitation, pain, dull pain, and sharp pain, which restricts the movability of that part of the body. So bending would definitely become an issue. But also these crystals enter the bladder, the urinary bladder, and because of the urinary difficulties, there will be retention of urine, which will start backwashing into the prostate gland, and the prostate will accumulate those crystals and embed them in the tissues, which can cause an enlargement of the prostate and lead to further urinary, frequent urination problems. So I would suggest that if he really is serious about improving his quality of life, that he does make changes to his lifelong dietary habits and perhaps make some other lifestyle changes, which I have discussed in my book, Timeless Secrets of Health and Rejuvenation. The bottom line is, how much does he love and accept himself? How much does he value himself and his health over some dietary habits that he may have become so used to that it may be difficult to give up, but it will be in his best interest to at least give himself the opportunity to improve the condition, because it's not fun to be so limited in your lifestyle that it will actually deprive the person's even more of joy than having the pleasure of eating some of the things, some yogurt or cheese or red meat, which otherwise you can create many problems to the kidneys, to the digestive system, the rest of the body, Diabetes, by the way, you can easily be caused by eating animal proteins and dairy products. So the amount of protein that is contained in meat is fairly concentrated, fairly high, and in order to synthesize the amino acids that are broken down during the digestive process from eating those foods will require an enormous amount of insulin. And so many of the people that are suffering from diabetes now actually don't have diabetes because they have eaten too much sugar or starch foods, but they are mostly diabetic because their body is forced to produce an enormous amount of insulin in response to eating concentrated protein foods such as dairy food or meat. And once again, to synthesize the amino acids that are generated when you digest meat, for example, requires up to 10 or sometimes 20 times the amount of insulin that would be required for eating a couple of tablespoons of, or even more, of white sugar. So there is just no comparison. That's why there's a new study, or fairly new study, that came out and was released by the National Institute of Cancer, studying 550,000 Americans, and they discovered that eating meat on a regular basis increased the risk of dying by these individuals, to the amount of 20%. That means the chance of dying increasing will also mean that the risk of developing other diseases will be higher, just as much or even more so. And the risk of dying from diabetes is very, very high when you eat meat, according to the study. So once again, a person doesn't have to continue having diabetes and being on medication, which has side effects, of course. But diabetes is reversible, and so is urinary tract congestion, your kidney congestion. I would make sure to drink the kidney tea so that these crystals are broken down and they don't accumulate in the bladder area, in the bladder walls, where they can backwash into the prostate gland, and also not making sure that not any new crystals like uric acid is formed from overeating products like meat. Having said that, I wish that this beautiful, wonderful gentleman will recover from this ordeal, and taking self-responsibility is one of the best and first steps to recovery. Having a good lifestyle, making sure that during the summer period he's exposing his skin, his entire body to the sun, to at least get some amount of vitamin D generated in his body, which will also incredibly helpful for prostate issues. As we now know, prostate issues respond very, very well to increased amounts of vitamin D in the bloodstream and in the tissues, of course. And so this would be very beneficial for recovery from the prostate condition he's suffering from.